In a world of corporate greed, one Wall Street wizard had all the power until the day she decided to get even. Now they will have to face the consequences in the biggest scam of the century. Coming this fall.
Crime from the origination to the infrastructure to the way they foreclose to what they do in court to how they treat people to the way that the courts do not afford due process or insure against certain stopgaps like what's happening to me right now where I have a runaway train I'm trying to stop. Yesterday, Nancy, I had to send yesterday, I spent 3 hours sending 7 certified letters to Chase. I sent it to literally Jamie Dimon, the CEO's vacation home, sent it to the board of directors, sent it to a bunch of different people, you know, the judge, everyone. And the letter said 2 things. Number one, you guys, it was a very nice letter. I'm like, by error or mistake or fraud on the part of the plaintiff, in our opinion, my wife and I, you've done this, X, Y, and Z. You've entered default judgment. We entered a petition to open. You did a sheriff's sale. That should have been rescinded because of our petition to open. We did a notice of appeal, timely, blah, 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 blah. So therefore it should be like this, right? So in other words, first part was just explaining how everything got fucked up, right? And then we go into part 2, which is part of the leverage, okay? Nancy, the movie is not just for art's sake. The movie is leverage. Why? Because like I told you, so I wrote to them and said, number 2, we wanted to let everyone know from the judge to Chase to the lawyer. And I wrote to the partner, the lead partner of the law firm, and it's all certified. And I said, know this, one of us is a lawyer with an MBA and a chemical engineering degree.
Captain Price, this is Gaz. We're taking control of base security. What's your status? Over.
I just think so.
We're in position. Open the outer door to launch control. Roger, we're on it. Stand by. All those down. Got it. Doors coming on. Captain Price, this is Gaz. We're taking control of base security. What's your status? Over.
I just think
We're in
so.
position. Open the outer door to launch control. Roger, we're on it. Stand by. All those down. Got it. Doors coming on.
Teach him this year, and he said something. Him and there was 2 kids in my class, and I said, "Oh well, I mean, I did teach some of you before in the summer," and then they were like, "Oh my God, Mrs. Murray."
Just keep your hand on the wheel.
Who said that?
Keep your hand on the wheel.
I have to do it. Who said you would go to that class and not get into honors math? I said, "Well, do you think you didn't do any homework?" Like, and they were like, "Yeah." In the fall, and that's why you're it's pretty.
It's cool, right?
Did you use honors calculus?
He said his favorite teacher was Mrs. Barnes.
Okay, well, I think that's
Chasing JP Morgan is a film that is going to focus on the fraud that has been committed by JP Morgan Chase against not only me, but thousands, if not millions of Americans. Now, the thing that's unique about this film is it's not just your typical, produce the note kind of foreclosure thing.
It goes much deeper than that, and it involves a countersuit as well as a federal class action lawsuit seeking billions of damages for a particular variety or aspect of fraud in the foreclosure and in the, most importantly, mortgage origination process that is unique and not ever talked about. It's never been in a pleading, and I've done all the research. So as a result, it's a cause of action that is so gargantuan and big, involving front-loaded interest, where 6% is actually $580 in the first year, 107 in the fifth year, and 6% in the 30th year, leading to a series and pattern of racketeering where they offer you to refi every 5 years, which makes no sense. Why would they give you a point lower? Well, how's it benefit them? Well, it benefits them by getting you a point lower, but back to year one, where their amortization tables and their dynamic relationship between equity or capital and interest or their profit is completely out of whack, in their advantage. For no mathematically justifiable reasons. So anyway, the point is that I'm going to make more updates, but this is really about a fraud. This is about something that's really serious. And Chase and JP Morgan, they've already sent me a cease and desist letter. They tried to shut me down on GoDaddy. I love it. Good signs. They know they did something wrong, and a little bit like Roger and me. Maybe I'm going to try to have lunch with Jamie Dimon. Think he'll do it? I'll pick up the check.
From the county, and again, I'll say this one last time because I really want you, the Irish in you to hear this. You have to pull out the blarney and talk to someone find some nice person at a Bank of America and show them your ID and get just say, hey, it started in April 95, till now, and my accountant just needs, all payments, all whatever. It's like just the records of it. I need it. I lost it in my move, or I lost my whatever. Make up some dumb. I'm telling you to lie about your reason. If they say foreclosure, you say, my son handles everything. I don't even know what you're talking about. You play dumb. They will hand over to you, I'd say, an 18-page printout of your account history. I guarantee it, Nancy. It's like saying, if I walked into my bank and said, I want my checking account, like a history, they'll give me it. So you'll get it. The reason you haven't gotten it is because you have let them know that you're aware of foreclosure, so they're not going to give you evidence. If you act like you have no fucking clue and that you're half out of it, you were told. In fact, and here's another trick: if they still don't give it to you, you could say, if they're like, well, it's in foreclosure, blah blah. You could say, well, oh yeah, they've had me go to some credit counseling thing to learn about money because I'm not really good with it. I don't really understand any of this, but that's the other reason I need it, because I'm not going to fix this or what anything if I don't have that. So in other words, if the conversation gets to that part, like where they're like, it's in foreclosure or whatever, man, be like, oh, whoa, that's the other reason I need it. Something about foreclosure. I'm going to some meeting called a credit card. You're playing the idiot, and so play the idiot well, and then they'll finally be like, okay, and you can even say, listen, if you don't give me this, I can't solve the problem. In other words, if they're like, we can't give this to you because it's in foreclosure, say, I'm trying to, like, you're not expressing that you're fighting them. You're not expressing that it's wrong. You're not telling them it's paid up. You're not being normal Nancy. You're being a complicit. Yeah, I just want to pay you guys more money, and I just need to get these papers so I can get, the credit counselor and my accountant, and we can pay you guys more money. But I can't pay you more money unless I get the history. And that, you know what I mean? So you're lulling them into that. Not, does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense because I've done it 3 times now at the courthouse because I don't live far from the courthouse. Right. And each time I went, they were very kind to me, and they got the book out, and they found the parcel, right. And they said, here, gold.
Wait, time out. This is the county? Wait. County or bank?
I'm paying out, let me finish.
Okay, but
I'm paying out the ass for these documents until one day I go in there and there's it was before Christmas, I don't know how many years ago, kindly old gentleman with white hair, and he looked at me, he goes, you need a lawyer. You really need a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And he gave me every document for free.
Great.
And I said, God bless your soul.
Okay. But Nancy, number one, I was talking about the bank this whole time. You're talking about the county now.
The county, yeah.
All right, so-
and let me tell you, let me just interject one other thing. You know the county theater, do you?
Yeah,
Town?
I think so.
Okay. Prior to any movie showing, you can go and present your movie, whatever it is, and they will play it
Cool.
on the screen for nothing.
That's great. Well, I should start with The Last Game because it's CB West, and then do the foreclosure movie when it's done. That's great. That's actually a great idea. But Nance, here's my point though. So you may have all the paperwork out from the county. Number one, if you go online, you
Boxes.
Okay.
That's why I couldn't get on R5 and come to you.
No. But okay then.
Handle these 4 boxes.
Okay, but forget that then, because it shouldn't be, even if it's 4 boxes, that makes sense in one way, but not in another. Meaning, this whole case can be boiled down to 50 pieces of paper: the mortgage, the note, your payment histories, and But even though there's 4 boxes, we may have to go through 4 boxes to find those things. But what I'm saying is the following: if you go online, Nancy, you will be able to get everything that you got and you were paying for before. Nancy, if you go to them, you're right. You have to pay to get copies of shit. If you go online, you don't have to pay to get copies of shit. Okay? Yeah, all right.
Okay.
So that's number 1. Okay. So that's number 1 is county. Number 2 is bank accounting, which we've gone over. You have to go in, play dumb. You're not playing dumb with the county. You're not even dealing with the county. The county's online. The bank, you have to go to a branch, however, and I would call first, so you don't drive around, and play dumb girl and say everything I've told you and say, I want to come in. I'm not going to drive there until you say it's like, you'll have it for me. But, my accountant needs to have, here's the account number. It's the mortgage, 95 till now. I want just a printout of all credits and debits. I want an account history. Why do you need it? I got a new accountant and I need it. And I have no clue about money and I'm, whatever. And I'm silly like that. And if they, and hopefully they'll say, okay, well, give us an hour and then come. Then we're loving it, Nancy. We did it. If they say no, ask to speak to the manager, not being aggressive and smart, but say, I have to get this. My accountant said I have to get this and I have a right to get this. Why won't you give it to me? And then if he says anything about foreclosure, say, well, that's the other reason I need it. The credit counselor wants to go over it, because I'm trying to go through this credit counseling. So it's like so even if they get to the foreclosure issue, then play dumb within it saying, oh yeah, that's the other reason. I'm going to this credit counselor person because, my son pays all the bills. You can start babbling like you're senile. They'll be like, okay, man,
I can do senile perfectly.
So do it.
Got it.
And then when they say, okay, Nancy, come in, they'll say, bring your ID, but we'll give you the copy, just bring in your ID. And then it's a date. You could go in on Monday and get it or whatever. So my point is, Nancy, if you made an hour worth of calls to 5 branches in the Bucks County area that you've never dealt with before, you have to never have dealt with them ever. And you call them up and you will get one of them to say yes to you, Nancy, and then you'll go pick it up whenever. It doesn't matter when. But that is so important because right now we've talked so much, and we still don't know the amount owed, the amount paid. We still don't know these fundamentals. And if we knew the fundamentals, it would make you feel better. It would start to create an infrastructure of defense, and we could just have a better handle on all this. So that's the homework you have to do. And that's it, and take your time. We're not meeting for 10 days. Call me anytime. But you will be amazed by what you can find online on that Bucks County website. So,
Okay.
you may have all that already, but Nancy, it may have changed. Assignments may have changed. I don't know what may have changed. But that's what I want to do. I want to compare whatever you get today or in the next week with what you got from the nice old man, how many years ago. We want to figure this whole puzzle out. So to do a puzzle, we need every piece. How do we get every piece? All you have to do is get really 2 more things: accounting and all the county papers. That's it. And I'll do the rest with you, no problem. But that's it. So do that, honey, and call me if there's any problem. And we'll talk during the week or whatever. But stay on it, at least an hour a day. And then I'm definitely going to meet with you Tuesday, not next week, but the week after. All right. Anything else?
so I'll probably leave early and stop at a different branch and do my,
Yeah.
hey, I'm brain dead, can you help me?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm good at that.
Yeah, I mean, but or call first. I don't want you driving around. You know, do whatever you want, Nancy. But my point is, if it fails, I would just do like phone calls, find the one that will help you, and then you go there. But do whatever you think's right. Just do not ever let them know that you are aware of foreclosure. And if you are aware of it, you're aware of it like someone who's senile is. Oh yeah, my son said something about that. Is that why I'm going to this credit counseling meetings? That must be why. Yeah, that's why the man wanted it. My accountant wanted it and the credit counselor wanted it. That's it. That's why now. It's all coming back to me. Oh my God, where's the memories go?
The lovely thing is that my son has provided me with a tiny little tape recorder that I can just like stick in my pocket.
Awesome.
So, you know, without
You
telling
should.
them.
You should. I mean, that's good. I mean, even though technically,
Every word they're saying to me.
but you know what? To be honest, that's smart because even though it's technically it's illegal. If like because you know, but I think that's smart of you because in general.
I didn't know it was on.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know it was on. Exactly, and to be honest, it's like it just doesn't matter. It's like we can work around it. The idea is simply that if you recorded something that they said, we could work around it to just like I don't have the recording of the guy telling me when who bought the Chase note, but I know it, and I can get someone to say it on tape someday because I know what to ask for. You know what I mean? So that's why it's smart. So I think that's very smart of you to do. I think you should record. Anytime you deal with foreclosure stuff, whether it's with me or anyone, always record it. Yeah, always record it if you can, and that's that. You know, it's just good. Because like I recorded this whole conversation because it's good for the movie, and who knows what we've just talked about all this stuff. It's private between you and me, but who knows how it will fit into the story later. And you know, I wanted to videotape everything.
Wonderful. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we can just pick and
you know what? One of us or both of us is going to win our cases. I'm telling you that, number one. Number two, if the worst thing happens and, you know, we both lose, well, number one, here's my theory, and I mean this sincerely. You know, I have faith in God, and if I lose, then maybe I'm supposed to go somewhere else in this world. Maybe I'm supposed to like live somewhere else, you know, for the next few years. You know, in other words, I'm willing to be led by the universe, you know, the force, God, whatever. So I will accept that.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I lose it, then there's a reason.
But here's the best part. If we both lose it, and there's a reason, our lives go on. Your life goes on, my life goes on. But if we lose it, here's what I really got to stress. That's why I'm making this fucking film. Is that if we were to lose, you and I, and not make this film, we become statistics. Forgotten.
Right.
We are literally figures on some GAO report, okay? And instead, if we lose, we are going down, and I mean this, of course, in the metaphorical sense, we are taking everyone with us, meaning everyone complicit in this charade called foreclosure, judicial. We're going to bring them down because it is a crime.
My name's T. Patrick Murray, and I'm an award-winning filmmaker. I've made a documentary called The Last Game, which was called, quote, possibly the best sports film ever made by the Los Angeles Times, 4 out of 4 stars from USA Today. The best documentary I ever saw from Anna Cool News, and the most exciting movie I've ever seen by my local paper, the Philadelphia Inquirer. I say none of this to brag, but to establish credibility. I grew up with M. Night Shyamalan. We went to the same high school. He's had a little bit more success than me, then, but that's cool. We're artists, and, Van Gogh never sold a painting, so who knows? Time will tell. Point's this. I am making a film that is very interesting. It's called Chasing J.P. Morgan. And what is it about? Well, it's about fraud closure, as they call it, foreclosure that is not legal. It's about the economic situation and the legal situation and the social situation involving J.P. Morgan Chase, who is the person that's foreclosing on me for the third time after I've beaten them in court. Actually, I beat them in the lawsuit. They dismissed it right before any trial because I had the evidence that they were not, in fact, the holders in due course. In other words, they had no right to sue or foreclose on me. Why did they have no right to foreclose on me? What does all this mean? How can this help you? Even if you pay your mortgage and you have no problems with your mortgage, if I told you that it was illegal things that they were doing, the interest they were charging you, for example, that your 6% rate is really 580% the first year, that's 107 the fifth year, it doesn't get to 6% until the 30th year. If I told you that and explained that to you and showed it to you and showed you how all that's fraudulent and illegal, if it's premeditated and known, and if I told you that you could probably get your house for free or get treble damages or get some relief because this isn't being opportunistic or un-American, this is actually redressing a wrong. Just like the LIBOR scandal indicates, which is a manipulation of the base interest rate, the London Interbank exchange rate, which is, the hallmark, which is like the prime rate of the world. The point is that if that's manipulated, then the idea of the manipulation of amortization tables, which dictates the dynamic relationship between equity or ownership or principal that's repaid in a loan payment, a fixed loan payment, and the amount that is for interest. And the way that that's set up is taken for granted and thought of as being normal, when in fact it's called front loading, and it's a way of monetizing the debt quicker, and it's also the foundation of the entire scandal known as the derivative scandal, which almost imploded our economy in 2008, which involved the bundling of all of these, not mortgages actually, notes, which are the debts, to buy the homes, and bundled them together and sold them as trusts, or basically CDO MBS trusts. They became just another type of thing, like a bond to stock. Well, this was a derivative type of instrument. People made trillions of dollars. It was great. In fact, there was only one problem with the whole idea. Well, if something happened that had never happened in history, they'd be fucked, and the things would be underwater, and they'd be out of the money. What's that thing? It's if real estate ever went down. And in 2008, as you may remember, real estate went down, and it continues to go down. So as a result, we almost, collapsed as an economy in 2008. But AIG bailed, out the certificate holders and et cetera, et cetera. We've had QE1, QE2. We're just printing money. We're in a fiat Ponzi economy. This whole thing will collapse and be replaced by a new system. That's not really the focus, though. What the focus is my experience fighting a foreclosure with J.P. Morgan Chase, number one. Number two, my countersuit for fraud, for RICO, the Third Circuit federal class action suit I'm going to put in that's going to seek billions of damages for anyone that's ever had a mortgage, ever, from any of the major banks. This isn't just Chase. That is going to be for like the big six banks, and it's basically going to, if you had any mortgage at all, you should be part of this. And why? Well, watch the movie when it comes out, or check out my website. That's the meat of it. So after you watch the movie, you'll be entertained because you'll see my story. And it's a funny story. My dad used to own an NFL team. We've been rich, we've been poor. We're normal people because we've had those experiences. But number two, I think it'll be a very valuable thing because you'll be able to, as a human being, be aware of the truth of how banking really works and how money works. But more importantly, if you know anyone that's in a jam and is facing foreclosure, if you know someone that's lost their home to foreclosure, there will be, wrapped in all the fun, entertaining things about this doc, there's going to be a lot of information that's going to help you. So I see no reason why if you're interested in social issues, if you're interested in keeping your home, if you're interested in getting money because you've been injured and damaged by these actions of the bank that I allege, and of course that's my allegation, I have to prove it in court, or I also have to prove it in terms of my film. Well, the point is, if I'm right about any of these things, it could help a lot of people, and I know I'm saying here right now, it's August of 2012, and they just sued me again for foreclosure, and I'm fighting back hard, and I think that I'm going to win and prevail. I could be wrong, they could win. That's going to be part of the fascinating storyline. It's happening as we speak. So please check it out. I'll update constantly. And I'm on Indiegogo. Even though I don't want to sell this film, I want to give it out for free. I'm trying to raise a little money for it. But if you can't give money through Indiegogo, just support by spreading the word, however you can, okay? Chasing J.P. Morgan by T. Patrick Murray. Check out thelastgame.com. That's a work I did that gives you an example of the quality. Too much is going on to even get close to bringing up to speed. But today's a big day. We are sending out the precipice for default judgment for counterclaims. Never responded to our counterclaims. We filed our answer in April with their bullshit default judgment. As to the default judgment, what you need to do is attach the notice that you sent, which we did send, and we're attaching to the precipice. So that's what theirs did not have, and it's the fatal defect. And we did a petition to open, which I haven't heard about yet. Anyway, so we're sending that out to the prothonotary. We'll see what happens with our $20 check. This is for the tax department. Hey, you say you own the mortgage, so pay then the tax bill. Let's see what they do. And then this is the last QWR, which is the number 2 one, and we're sending it now, beginning of July, dated through 29th. And there's our loan number, the whole, final, blah, 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 with that. But we want to, it's like a flanking maneuver in war. We're trying to cover all our bases, getting a default judgment against them for the counterclaims of fraud and usury and everything. Get them to pay the taxes because our escrow was funded into 5 figures when we closed the deal. They said we didn't fund anything. And of course, this is our second QWR, which we're going to send FedEx, so we have a record of it. And they probably won't respond, but they have to within 5 days at least recognize it. So let's hope they do. What we're looking for, of course, is for them to lie or otherwise, or if they tell the truth, to supply evidence that they don't own the note. And I have more to talk about, but this is good for now. So this is happening and it's like July the 10th. So to be honest, I'll be honest with you. As much as I'm completely confident that we have enough to stop this thing, it's still not over, and it still has not stopped. And bankruptcy is a last ripcord cyanide pill that we'll take if we have to. But hopefully we'll just do it the right way, through the truth and through the legal system. And this is a big day to mail all this stuff out. So July the 10th, 2013, T. Patrick Murray, chasing J.P. Morgan, and I am going to make them pay. Tell me what they got to say, and I'm going to show you how to do it the right way when it comes to a default judgment, blah, blah, blah. All right, anyway, that's it. Sending this out, mailing, and it's really hot. That's why my AC's on. And my wife is gone, and my kids are visiting their aunt and uncle, so I miss everyone so much. I'm all here alone. That's why I don't want to show myself, because I'm crying and I don't want to see the red eyes. No, actually, I am lonely, but it helps me get a lot of work done. And I want them to get back and get this house cleaned up for them and let them know that, hey, you don't have to pack up. We're not going to lose our house in a month. Because right now, I think the clock's at like 38 days or something ridiculously low. So I'll check in more later, but a little update. Working late. Update. Obviously, you can see the beds in my office. We have the best in terms of food. Everything you know is wrong. Everything I know is wrong. All right. Whatever. Late. Okay, it's a beautiful day on June the 20th of 2013, and today was a go out there and get my glove and get me ready. I'm just filming one thing, okay? Just one thing, just go get it, okay? Love you. All right, there's my beautiful son Jake. Anyway, go get my glove and get ready. I'll be right over. Go work the net. Anyway, beautiful day. A lot of things happened today. Very things I'll talk about later. Discoveries, major discoveries. Positive thing on the appellate thing, positive thing on a motion to show a statement of errors regarding the opening and the petition of judgment as to the default judgment that was illegally entered by the Pathonetary for equitable relief, which is illegal. Anyway, make a long story short, here's the deal. As we proceed, we are in a state of, where by tomorrow, the Friday, the 21st of June, I owe a reply to their readdressment or readjustment of damages sought. So not only are these guys not backing down, they're doubling down and going in harder, which is hysterically funny for reasons I'll explain later. But as I walk out to play with my son right here on this beautiful summer day, this is what I get right here. I'll be right there, buddy. I know, honey. Can you, Jake? Jake, take it over there. I love it. Because I'm filming something. Okay? And I'll tell you about it in a second. I just want to film it. Okay? Fuck that shit.